All right, so on the last TigerBelly podcast, Bobby, Lee, and Khalyla announced that they broke up, even though I think everyone knew they were already broken up or they were going through something. This really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I mean, they probably broke up a couple of years ago because, I don't know, their relationship is weird. They should invent like a new word for this type of relationship. I mean, they just announced that they're broken up, but they said they're still living together, they're still doing the podcast together. They spend like most of their time with each other. They're still in love with each other. But then I guess Khalyla goes to Hawaii on the weekends. So it's a weird relationship. And like I said, I'm sure they've been broken up for a while. Or they've just been in like limbo and they don't know what to do. And it sounds like they're still there. Because I don't know what the big change is after this announcement. They're still doing the podcast. They're still living together, I'm pretty sure. Maybe things will change in the future. Obviously, it could all fall apart. But right now, it sounds like nothing's really changing. And it sounds like they only announced this breakup because Khalyla's been getting so much hate ever since the H3 podcast where they talked about their open relationship. A lot of people have been talking about how Khalyla is using Bobby and she's taking advantage of him, and he didn't really want the open relationship and it's something that she just wanted. So my guess is that they're using this breakup thing to try to squash that and try to end all the speculation, because also Bobby kind of took a lot of the blame for the relationship going south. And also he admitted, and Khalyla said, that he is the one who brought up the open relationship, and she said he was taking advantage of it as well. So I think they're just trying to put the whole open relationship thing to rest and try to get people to stop speculating on everything, even though I don't know if this will work. I mean, at least in the short term, their subreddit is going to be flooded with crazy posts. I mean, there are already people having meltdowns on there. They're acting like their parents are getting divorced or like a family member just passed away or something. It's crazy. These people, they're nuts. I mean, it's also hilarious because if you post something negative about Khalyla and Bobby's relationship and you say like, I think Khalyla's bad for Bobby because she's using him and he clearly doesn't want the open relationship, I mean, I think your post will get deleted, but also people will say, mind your own business, stop being so parasocial, go touch grass. But then when they break up, everyone's like, oh my God, this is so sad. I can't believe this is happening. Oh, this sucks that the relationship is ending. I thought we shouldn't be paying attention to it. I thought it was none of our business. You can't have it both ways. Like, even Bobby and Khalyla, it seems like they want to have it both ways. They want to talk about their relationship all the time. They want to get really personal. But then when people talk about it on the internet, they're like, no, you can't be doing that. I don't like the internet talking about our relationship. It's our business. So I think with this podcast, they just created an extremely toxic fan base. And I would hate to be the moderator of their subreddit. That sounds awful. Like, I just saw this post on there. I think it's deleted already. But these people, this is pretty wild. This person said that they are upset that Bobby and Khalyla are hiding things from them, and they think they should be open about everything, and they're slowly like losing support for the show because they just feel like they're left out of the loop, which is pretty extreme. But them being so open about everything and talking about all this stuff on the show, even this breakup talk, like, this is something that maybe you should just keep to yourselves. The more they talk about this really personal stuff and the more they open up about their relationship, the more the fans are going to feel a closer bond, and they're going to want to speculate on things, and they're going to want to talk about the relationship, and that's probably not something you want. Unless you don't mind that kind of stuff, which you'd think they don't, because that's a big part of the podcast is them talking about their personal life. So you think they'd be ready for other people talking about it. But I will say, obviously, people take things too far, and Bobby is a grown man. He can make his own decisions. People do act like he's a child sometimes. They're like, oh my God, he can't do anything for himself. I need to stick up for him. I need to spend all this time like worshiping him and telling him to get out of this relationship. At the end of the day, this guy's like 50. He's a famous person. He's got money. I mean, he can make his own decision. And if you feel like he's being taken advantage of and you feel like she's using him for money and all that stuff, at this point, how are you going to feel bad for him? He clearly wants to be part of it. Like, if all the rumors are true, and let's just say she is using him for money, I'm not really going to feel that bad for him. Because if a guy is just spending money on a girl to keep her around, or like the girl clearly isn't interested in him and she's going out with other guys and he's aware of it, what are you going to feel bad for? He clearly knows what's going on and he just doesn't care, or he's in denial. So I'm not going to feel bad for him. Just like I don't feel bad for simps that spend all their money on the internet on e-girls. Like, if that's what you're going to do, I think you're an idiot, but I'm not going to feel bad because you lost your money. You know what you're doing. So right now there's like a civil war going on between the TigerBelly fans, because there's people that think Khalyla is all to blame and she's terrible and everything. Then there's people that just think their relationship was toxic and they're both broken people and it didn't go too well and neither one is really at fault. And then there are also people that just blame all the fans for their breakup. Like, people are going on the subreddit and they're like, look what you did, you caused this breakup. And in my opinion, Khalyla does have some problems. Maybe she's not the best person, but also Bobby, he's a grown man, he can handle himself, and I'm sure he's not the easiest person to be in a relationship with. So it's just not very surprising that they don't have the best relationship. And I don't feel like they just broke up like the other day on that podcast. I don't think that's what was going on. Like I said, I'm sure their relationship was falling apart for years. They probably just, they came up with some plan to get by where they can keep doing the podcast and keep living together and somewhat being happy, but I'm sure they don't even know what the hell their relationship is. But they probably thought it was a good idea to just tell everybody that it's over so that people can stop speculating and people can stop getting all involved in it, even though I think this could just make things worse possibly. I mean, at least for the next few days or weeks, because now everyone's going to be like, oh, what happened? What's going on? I can't believe this. Like, people are flipping out. And it's funny because this conflict between the fans is pretty much the internet in a nutshell. It's people that are kind of defending a girl and they're being called simps, and then people that are criticizing a girl that are being called incels. Like, these words have completely lost their meanings. I mean, I'm sure there are some that are on both sides. Like, I'm sure there are actually incels and simps that are arguing about things. But it's just like anybody that criticizes Khalyla, you're an incel, and anybody that defends her, you're a simp. And there's like no in between. It's either one or the other. And that's pretty much the internet. So it's pretty crazy that all this started with the Brendan Schaub drama when Khalyla told that story on the Trash Tuesday podcast. And now basically it's all turned on her. And now she has like a subreddit, kind of like the Fight in the Kids subreddit, where everyone just talks negatively about her. And Brendan's blackmail kind of worked in a way. Obviously, he didn't want things to go like this exactly, but he was going to use this whole open relationship thing and the Hawaii story and the gold digging rumors to try to get Khalyla to stop talking about him or take back the story. And obviously Brendan never released this information, but Khalyla and Bobby did, and it obviously had an effect on them because they're still trying to address it, even though I don't know why they did address it. Like, obviously the trolls and the comments and the people on her subreddit got to them, which, I mean, just, it's your relationship. Like, why do you pay attention to people on the internet? Like, obviously it's hard to ignore it all the time, but you shouldn't answer to them. And it's also funny because this all started when Khalyla was talking about Brendan Schaub's relationship and how he hit on her. And obviously she didn't say his name, but it was pretty obvious who she was alluding to. So she was kind of starting some drama with him, and she's trying to downplay it and act like it was no big deal. And obviously I don't agree with what Brendan did. He shouldn't have hit on her. But when she brought up this story, she had to know what she was getting herself into a little bit.
I think with that, Clyde, do you think that's nice?
Hang on one second, Brendan. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. If we're having this discussion about something that happened in the past and we're having a giggly little girl talk, mm-hmm. Where is the crime in that?
There's no crime. You can do whatever you want.
From my end, it looked foolish for you to be this fragile over something some three girls said on a podcast. It looked foolish.
Now all this can be applied to her. They just had a whole meltdown on their podcast and they're crying about their relationship because some trolls on the internet were talking about them. And then she makes it sound like when she goes on a podcast and talks about Brendan cheating on his wife to a couple 100,000 people, it's just a little girly talk. But some trolls on the internet just talking about her and Bobby's relationship is really getting to them, and it's something that they have to address, and they're taking it all seriously and they're all upset about it. Like on their last podcast, I think Bobby said he's not going to let people on the internet destroy their relationship or destroy them or something. Like, good, you shouldn't. I mean, they're just people on the internet, and it's probably already a bad idea that you're even addressing them. And now I'm sure Khalyla understands where Brendan was coming from, because I mean, Brendan gets worse hate than her, obviously. So now I'm sure she realized what Brendan had to deal with when she exposed him for trying to hook up with her. So I think if Bobby and Khalyla are actually sick of people talking about the relationship and speculating on things and getting so involved, then they should probably just stop talking about it on their podcast. Like this last podcast, Bobby was pissed about people talking about his relationship and getting so involved in it, and he's sick of hearing all the people online discuss it. But then he's telling everybody all these details. He's talking about their breakup, and he's revealing all this personal information. So, I mean, I feel like you got to choose one or the other. And maybe it's it. Maybe they will just end it here. But I'd be kind of surprised. Because like I said in the beginning, I don't know what's really going to change with them. It sounds like the only thing that's going to change is now the internet thinks they're broken up. I mean, that's about it. Sounds like everything else is going to be the same, really. Unless they do hit a point where one of them moves out, they end the podcast, and they stop working together. I think that would be the only real change. So it'll be interesting to see where things go from here. That's about it for this video. Make sure you hit the like button, leave me a comment, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.